the guys to the team collectively that's improving every day, not one of the guys that's not getting better. How do you try to make sure that you're one of the ones that's on that side of trying to get better every day?
I mean, yeah, it's just simple as being on your playbook, especially these days. Nothing's really too physical. This is big mental days these last 2 days, so really just staying on my playbook, making sure the younger guys know what they're doing, helping them out because I know their heads are spinning, so yeah.
I know you guys kind of joked on the way over, like, oh, we're not the smartest guys on the team, but you guys have to be pretty smart, don't you? You guys got a big playbook, you have to make a lot of reads. People may not realize, but they should realize there is a lot of smarts that goes into what you guys do.
Yeah.
How do you guys kind of go about trying to break down and learn all the intricacies of the offense? Coach talked a lot yesterday about trying to understand the whole concept of a play, not just your job of a play.
Yeah, it's the what Coach always says, see the defense through one set of eyes. So where 5 fingers pulled together makes a very powerful weapon. If we're all on the same page, it seems to work out. So
tomorrow, shoulder pads come in. How does intensity ramp up?
Yep. Of course, it's mental day to day. It's going to be a very physical day tomorrow, especially for the young guys. They're going to really see what college football is about. It's not high school, so.
I'm going to ask this of everybody, just so you know. You guys got the Guardian helmets on. What do you think about those?
I think they're the no fun pads because you don't hear no contact, but I know safety is a good thing. So
you're one of the guys that's got experience back. So how does that make you feel more like a leader of this group compared to last year, where there was a ton of experience back, All-Americans back? And how did you maybe learn from those guys last year?
I mean, I just kind of took what Sherman Deaton did last year, trying to pull a lot of guys together and really hammering the details. I'm trying to do the same thing and make sure that everybody hammering the details. Anything about like footwork, anything we got to do, remembering patterns of the defense, all type of things like that. Watching film where you're gone, just kind of hammering it and making sure that people are doing the small things to be successful on the field.
Seems like when I see Coach Cash doing those drills over with you guys work, not that you don't work on hands, but there's a lot of drills where it's just stepping, just working on the step. How much is that first step so important to what you guys need to do on an offensive play?
Just kind of with our splits and everything, we need to take good steps so we don't be behind blocks, so we can kind of, get the zones moving and all that type of stuff. So our first step is important because you got a bad first step. Halftime, probably not going to interrupt. So really getting that first step is more important than getting your hands on them first, because you got to get some feet in the ground before you could initiate some contact and really have power. So that first step is really important, first, second.
You talked about the mental day. How much of it has been you guys getting thrown into different positions? Coach Cash likes to do that every training camp and rotate you guys around. Has there been more of that with so many more different and new guys that maybe haven't started before on the unit this year?
Yeah, like all the young guys come in, like freshmen, they might be a tackle coming from the high school, but, not everybody going to play tackle here. So, when you come in, a lot of freshmen and like second year, third year guys still looking for an opportunity in a role, they get moved around quite a bit because you're more valuable if all 5 positions, you know what I'm saying? So, you got to kind of move around. You want to find a role, but if you're good at whatever you do, you're going to stay there. So, that's kind of what it is. So, yeah.
I'm going to ask you too, just so everybody, just talk about wearing the Guardian helmet stuff.
Me personally, I don't like it because it makes the helmet way heavier. You know what I'm saying? But it's cool because you don't feel anything. But, yeah, it's give and take, you know what I'm saying? We already fat, so dealing with that, it's whatever. Yeah.
How do you feel like in terms of day 2? There was a lot of emphasis yesterday on making sure everybody's got the same energy. Easy to be excited about day 1. How do you feel like the energy level was for day 2?
I feel we were a little more dead today than day 1. It's easy to come out day 1 and be excited, but it's the dog days of camp, day 3, 4, 5, 6, that you really needed to grind and just come to practice ready.
So I guess from your perspective, how do you personally and how does the group collectively make an adjustment? Because certainly tomorrow with shoulder pads on, the intensity is going to ramp up even another notch.
You've just got to put the goal before yourself. Week 1 or week 0 is 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away, and we just got to keep working until then.
I thought John's going to ask you about those Guardian helmets.
Yeah, just talk about that a little bit. Ask me what do you think of it.
Personally, as a center, I like it. You're knocking heads in there, double teams, all that. It really saves my head sometimes. I like it.
What do you think will happen then when you get them off?
It's a game. Just play.
You don't have nearly as much coming back in terms of snaps. Do you feel like you need to just not just mix up so that they know the positions, but for you to figure out, how to fill out the 10 spots on the 2 deep?
Yeah, that was what I was doing here last night, after practice one. I mean, you just see, I have a great group. They're a lot of fun to coach. They want to get better, and it's my job to put them in the best positions they can to be successful, and right now I don't know what those positions are to make them be successful, right? And I got a lot of really good parts, guys that could maybe play tackle, maybe play guard, interchangeable at spots. But even with that, though, it's like the normal game week where you really got to settle it here, probably about 10 days before the first game. But right now I don't have to make those decisions, and every practice we're evaluating and trying to figure out what the best situations for those guys are going to be.
I know in the drills, not that you don't work on hands and stuff, but man, it seems like you guys are always doing steps over there. How important are those cleats on the ground in terms of what your offensive line needs to do in this offense?
Oh, it's unbelievably important. I mean, it all starts with your feet. If you're building a house, you build the basement first, and that's your feet. If your feet aren't in line, if you're not playing with a good base, the thing I always tell the guys, it's like playing basketball, but you can't just take a charge. You got to stop the guy, right? So I got to get my feet in front of him, and I got to be able to stop him to have good footwork. So we work on those all the time. And during camp, it's hard because they're big, right? They're big guys, and the feet kind of slow down, and then they start kind of getting their bodies out of position. So it's just constantly working with them about getting their body in good body positions, playing with good power angles to give them the best chance to be successful.
Certainly don't want to make it sound like it was all offensive linemen, but you and Coach made an emphasis in terms of pre-snap penalties. How do you guys kind of continue that emphasis with everybody on the offense, asking you as the offensive coordinator now? Because you certainly, when the offense is going 3rd and 5, it's certainly better than when it's 3rd and 5 plus 5.
Amen to that, Blake. 100%. I'd rather have them jump and us get a free first down than we jump and it's 3rd and 10. And even in our expectation meetings, I showed them clips. I mean, in 2022, we're playing a really good opponent out here. It's 4th and 1, and they jumped off sides, versus in practice, we're jumping off sides. And a lot of it is just, it's so much information we're throwing at them, right? That, you don't ever tell the kids this, but you understand, like, hey, it is a lot. Even if they got to have expectation meetings, like what Coach Higgins said. We sat in meetings for 12 hours, and we tell them all the different things that they need to know, and then, oh, by the way, you got to block people too. So it eventually calms down. The more reps they get, the more comfortable they get with our offense, and the kids are doing a good job. I mean, it's a group that hasn't played a ton. We have some guys that have played, but for the most part, we got a lot of guys that haven't played in MIAA games, and they're doing a great job learning it. Yeah, those are huge. I had those at my previous school. I don't know the science behind it. I think they work. It just gives those guys a peace of mind, and just player safety is at a premium. I mean, you got to take care of your players. If you take care of the players, they'll take care of you. Whether it's knee braces during practice, guardian caps, and all those kind of things, because as the game's evolved, over the last 10 years, guys are bigger, faster, stronger, and the impacts are more violent nowadays. So we're trying to do a good job with protecting the guys up front, no matter what we can do, even when it's a tough position.
All right, I'm going to let you know which players said then.
Uh-oh.
Brody liked them.
Okay.
In the middle of it all. You two guys more on the outside are like, I don't like them, they're no fun pads.
That's funny. Yeah.
The sound, lack of the sound.
It is something you got to get used to, because even as an offensive line coach, you're used to kind of that impact, right? I've heard it for however many years, and you're down there during individual, and you kind of don't hear it, and you're like, I mean, they're coming off the ball. It's just not as loud as what it used to be. So, and a lot of NFL guys wear them now. I mean, the NFL guys wear them. Some of those guys wear them in games now. So, like I said, we can protect our players the best that we can, and we're going to do a good job with that.
Those are on film, and you see guys that are, picking up what you're teaching and making those adjustments. How do you look at that on film and try to make that evaluation of, hey, we told that guy to fix this and he fixed it, and maybe the other way of, when guys are not fixing things that they need to fix?
Well, I think, we watch film as a staff, offensively and defensively. So we're in there discussing it to where, if we talked about somebody making a mistake yesterday, when we go in and watch film today, if the same mistakes made, we're all able to recognize that, and it starts with the position coach, of course. But, those are the things I look at, whether it's a young freshman, a redshirt freshman, even a guy that's been around, I mean, you want to see them. We talk about our 1% every day, and our slogan is win. What's important now? We just need to concentrate on the day and getting better at the things that we need to get better at, and to me it's about guys just focusing in. I mean, right now, I've said this before too, Blake, that we have nothing else going on. Okay, so classes have not started. There is no homework. So we are straight running football right now. So at night, things are moving fast because it is an install. During the first part of camp, it's always about installing. So guys, they got to take some pride in themselves and show us that they're willing to learn the system. And then if they're not learning it, then either, we didn't do a very good job evaluating, or, there's a disconnect somewhere in communication, so and we got to figure out what that is and try to improve on it.
You say what's important now, and it's important now because you're emphasizing it, but it'll be important on game day, and that's pre-snap penalties. It's something that Coach Cash talked about with his offensive linemen. Not that they were all the pre-snap penalties, but
right.
How big is that when you turn a 3rd and 1 into a 3rd and 6 with something, like that, and how do you work on getting that corrected here? And obviously, big emphasis for you here in the second day.
I mean, repetitions get things like that corrected. We play, again, playing in our offense to me is, we don't do a whole lot of hard concepts, but you got to think. You could go 3 plays in a row really quickly, and then the 4th one could be a double clap, where we're clapping like we're going fast and then going a second clap. So, like, if you get tired or you're not focused in, then, pre-snap penalties are going to happen. Same thing with, like, for us, we never huddle up except when we take the field for the first play of the series. So we got to be able to get the signal, go through the concept in our head of what we got to do, execute it, and then turn around and we got to start it again. And there's so much detail with how to play fast. It's not just like, hey, guys, 8 to 10 years ago, how we taught it was just play fast, and yelled it all the time. We have little attention to details of how to play fast, of where to be at on the field, depending on what receiver you are. Same thing with a quarterback and a center. Where they're going is vitally important. So there's all those things that make it difficult, and you got to think. So just us being in these situations and repping it and getting a lot of reps, to me, those are the things that will eventually make us better.
Obviously, offensive line is a big foundation to everything that you do. A lot of newcomers on this offensive line. What have you seen out of that unit here these first 2 days?
Well, to me, it goes back to last spring where I felt like that group did a great job. Like, there's a lot of room for improvement, and we lost some players up front, but I thought our guys, really kind of took it upon themselves to be a gritty group, and it's one of those, it's the most to me, and I've heard other coaches say this, and I'm stealing it from Jim Harbaugh, I think, that stole it, but like that position, I'm a skill guy, okay, but that position up front is the most important position on the field, besides the quarterback, just second to none. All right. It sets the tone, just like I believe the quarterback does in our system, sets the tone. So that's how I look at that group. And, I think we got a competitive group. I think we got a hungry group, guys that know that, guess what, it's I got an opportunity now to play, so I'm going to take advantage of it, So, and we've seen some guys that it was good for them to go through the spring. Again, I'm going to go back to the spring where they were able to get reps. That kind of prepares them for the fall, and hopefully they just continue to build upon, the improvement that they showed in the spring.
I asked all the players about this, asked Cash about it. Talk about the Guardian caps. What made you decide to go with those this year? Anything?
Well, Don, I look on TV and everybody else is doing it. I mean, that's the first thing. I mean, they do it in the NFL, right? I always say this, if we're doing it in the highest level of the game, then we ought to be trying to do it too. All right, so there's the first thing. And second thing is concussions, they're more prevalent than they were 20 years ago, 25 years ago. Okay. Back in the day when we had concussion, Brad Oberzan, he just had an oversized helmet. So you want to protect. The most important thing is protecting our players. And I think also just everything counts for us in recruiting. So, yeah, we don't have the nicest weight room or an indoor facility, but we got good equipment here. We take care of our players, so that's another reason why.